Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. As I look back at the year gone by, to me this seems to be a year of confrontations, whether it is the Congress accusing the government of playing a role in the National Herald Case or the Aam Aadmi Party versus the government. To discuss this with me, I have a senior journalist and columnist Virender Kapoor. I have Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, spokesperson for the BJP. Neerja Chaudhary, she's also senior journalist, political analyst. And Madhu Yaski, again, spokesperson for the Congress Party. I'll begin with you, Madhu, since the Congress and the government seem to be on a collision course more so towards the end of the year. And this is a time we really thought, after Modi's chai, there would be the GST bill would be passed, the winter session may have gone off smoothly. But what happened?
Yeah, that is also, we also wonder, Prime Minister Modi's split personality, right, particularly after Bihar elections, the BJP lost the election miserably. And they've seen the oppositions coming, the secular forces coming, what damage can be done to the BJP party, the ruling party. So since then you can see the systematic attack on the opposition parties, particularly if you look at it, how they suddenly, Mr. Subramania Swamy, the think tank of BJP party, meets Prime Minister, then
I don't think they'll call him the think tank.
Finance Minister comes up, and I was in Hyderabad, and I can trying to get more evidence on that, how Mr. Swamy was sitting in Hyderabad and 2 years ago talking to the Telugu Desham's, the alliance partner, and how they conspired the whole National Herald Case itself with the two other people. Probably I'll get you on the NewsX very soon. But what could I see here, Priya? One, you calling for Charcha and Chai, and the next day you coming up with these cases. But let me tell you one thing I would like to make it very clear. Congress never played or never threatened or never tried to pressurize the judiciary. The case where we went to the High Court is to quashing the proceedings started in the lower court, not to oppose the appearance in the court itself. So this is a wrong perception is created that Congress is, or Congress leadership is, because of the cases is filed and they don't want to go to the court or appear. So never in the history, Congress never played that. And what we would like to see here is one Prime Minister invites for a discussion on the GST bill, never comes up
Never comes up because you don't let it come up. Let me bring GVL onto this.
I think you see, the case of National Herald has nothing to do with the BJP or the government. And government has not even been asked to give any kind of information to the, or conduct any inquiry. This is on the basis of documents that were provided in the court by a member. When he filed this complaint, he was not a BJP member. In 2012-13, he became a member much later. But even otherwise, even if a BJP MP, for example, let's say if I were to go and file a complaint against any Congress leader, why should you object? It is for the courts to decide. And then in this case, both the trial court and the High Court have held that there are prima facie reasons for proceeding with the trial. So the criminality aspect that has been established is established by the courts, not by the BJP. BJP, if there was no substance in these allegations, the courts would have thrown these petitions out of the window.
Neerja, how has the National Herald Case worked on the Congress? They are playing the victim card clearly, trying to play on public sympathy. Is this going to boomerang or is this going to help them?
I think the calculation is that it will help them. This is an opportunity to seize, because otherwise Mrs. Sonia Gandhi would not have made that statement that I am Indira Gandhi's daughter-in-law and I'm not going to be scared by anybody. Now, she did not invoke the name of Jawaharlal Nehru, she did not invoke the name of Rajiv Gandhi, she invoked the name of her mother-in-law. And therefore, a large number of people assumed that she was referring to 1977, when Indira Gandhi had at that time also just begun to turn the corner. If you remember, she had gone to Belchi atop an elephant, where Dalits had been killed, a very remote village in Bihar, flooded, and the Dalits there really looked upon her when she reached there as a savior. Then soon after that she came back and she went to her constituency, Rai Bareli, which had rejected her. There she apologized to the people there for the emergency. Then she went and saw Jayaprakash Narayan, who she'd fought during the emergency and the events preceding that. And there were this photograph of them together. It was at that time, soon after that, that she was arrested. So she was just turning the corner politically. Here also, the Congress is just turning the corner politically. You had Bihar, of course, they had party number 3 piggybacking the other two regional parties. But you've had local elections in Gujarat, rural areas where they've done very well, in urban areas just behind the BJP. Earlier Rajasthan local elections, student body elections, then Ratlam by-election, now Lohardaga in Jharkhand where the Congress has won. These are straws in the wind which have heartened the Congress. And then comes the National Herald case.
Virendra, do you think this National Herald case, will the Congress gain sympathy from it, or is it going to boomerang? You know, because the alternate argument
Look,
is...
Nirja was just talking about Sonia Gandhi saying, I'm Indira Gandhi's daughter. Yes. Indira Gandhi was Jawaharlal Nehru's daughter, period. Sonia is, you know, whose daughter. That's not relevant. The point is 1977 and 2015, you ought to know things have changed. I don't want to use a strong word. Anybody who thinks he can replicate the conditions of that time probably lives in cuckoo land. This is a different ball game today. BJP is much stronger. The regional parties were not heard of those that time. Today you have regional parties dominating all over. Bihar, UP, Odisha. And Congress lives in its own dreamland that in case that it can emerge as the single largest party again. Come on now. Just now, as she said, he piggybacked on Bihar.
But the other by-elections that the Congress has won.
And saying Ekla Chalo earlier. So come on now.
BJP came from 2 seats, sir.
That's true, but BJP is gained strength. BJP came. And what are the circumstances? That election was held in the backdrop of the massacre of 4006 in this city alone. That's why it came.
Brutal
So
killing
it's a
of
brutal
Indira
killing,
Gandhi.
yeah. Brutal killing of 4006 also. There's no closure for the 6th. So let's leave that alone.
Let's get on to
the fact is National Herald is a different... National Herald is essentially a property game. Today's newspapers have carried how they sold Bhopal, land given for the newspaper, to a shopping mall. This is the scandal. And Subramanian Swamy, whether it's Subramanian Swamy or Virendra Kapoor or he files a case, there's nothing to do with the government. The point is, and in newspapers have been full, 11-story commercial building is coming up in the heart of what is the commercial hub in Bombay in the name of national land allotted way back in 83. How do you justify that? Land here in Delhi, prime land, the so-called Fleet Street, is rented out at a hefty sum to MEA, and which runs a passport office. So this is a property game now. It's a real estate essentially at the heart of it.
So how is the Congress hoping to gain sympathy from a real estate scandal?
This is a malicious campaign going on. Case has filed on the falsely grounds, flimsy grounds. There is no criminality in it. This is not... National Herald is not a real estate kind of real estate company, Priya. Started in 37 by Jawaharlal Nehru ji, and it's engaged in National Herald paper, which spreads the Congress ideology here. So, see, if you look at how the Modi's and the BJP's Congress Mukta Bharat or Opposition Mukta Bharat, how can a democratic leader can imagine himself the only BJP has to rule the country? So this is what systematically happening 37 years ago happened. Whenever the opposition tried to come to power, they completely miserably failed in their governance. The promises which made, they couldn't fulfill it. To diversion tactics, which they promised jobs to growth. Maybe GVL doesn't agree with me, but the number of FDIs which they promised coming up, nothing is coming up. So to divert the tactics, they come up right after the Bihar elections. Mr. Subramanian Swamy comes on passport case and Rahul Gandhi. So they're scared of Congress is coming back to power again. And they're suspecting that how to do it, spoil the image of the Congress leadership. This is what Mr. Swamy comes up and he meets Mr. Honorable Prime Minister on last Thursday, meets Jaitley, and this case has been natural.
But why would Jaitley want this case? He wants the GST pass.
Let me quickly answer on this. The real estate thing which is mentioned, the properties which, what all you mentioned, this is held by the AGL and still going to hold held by AGL itself. None of the stocks has been transferred to an Indian company, neither the beneficiaries, like the stockholders. I can challenge on this channel that not a single iota of a truth where Mrs. Gandhi and Rahul got 1 penny out of this, or neither the stockholders out of it. Whatever it is coming, the stakeholder still holds it. Neither this can be transferred to Section 25 company. It cannot be transferred to the next or converted into commercial company.
These were exactly the same arguments that the Congress party trotted out when coal scam happened. more than 2 lakh crores was the estimated loss at that time. Subsequently, now it's estimated to be a much bigger scam. The same arguments were given out in the 2G scam. They said zero loss theory, nobody has lost any money. Chidambaram said the coal is there under Mother Earth, no coal has been extracted. The same arguments they are trying to trot out in a private scam now. It's a private corruption scandal, National Herald.
Priya, I just want to, because I think that the ordinary man doesn't know where was this is a question he can answer. Where was the need? Control of AGL also is with the same people who are going to retain the control in Young India, the new company is floated. Where was the need to do this? And you said about the real estate. Rahul Gandhi is on record saying National Herald will never come back.
No, I'll just add one more point when he can respond to both. You see, the court had perused all the facts that the lawyers, the top-notch lawyers of the Congress party have argued in the court. I don't know if Mr. Gowda also Mr. Yaski also is a lawyer.
Yes,
their best lawyers have gone there. So whatever ammunition and arguments you had, you presented them before the court. Court perused all of them and said, we reject these arguments. There is a prima facie, there is a need to conduct a trial on charges of cheating, misappropriation, breach of trust, and much more. So I think your arguments have been completely trashed at the summoning stage. But
before you answer, just one more question. When you answer, Indian Express reported about the building coming up in Bombay, 11-story, and the application license has been sought only on commercial grounds. The Bhopal building given to National Herald has a shopping mall has come up, and the transfer of land has been given to 4 different parties. How do you justify that? You take subsidized land and then you sell it for commercial purposes.
National Herald was shut in 2008, couldn't pay even the Provident Fund to salaries of the employees. Restructuring is legally allowed, and it is been not only for AGL company, for any other company in the country. Why we have done to the new? Because we would like to bring the National Herald back again and spread the ideology of the Congress. In the last 2 years, with almost less than 19 months, how the people of the citizens of this country feel threatened, and the kind of intolerance is spreading in the country. And we would like to bring that paper. We are in that aspect, the young company, that is also the Young Indian, the Section 25, not for profit company. None of the profits going to go with this.
You are a lawyer. Let me see. Section 25, we keep on harping. Section 25, it allows you subsequently to make it into a regular company.
Regular company, but again that company, let me answer as a lawyer also.
Why AGL could have sold the asset? This is what the court had
again has to have not for profit only, not for a commercial company
but let
at all. And secondly, quickly, your point, what you're saying, the argument which is done in the court for quashing, this is a falsy case has been registered by a private individual on his complaint under criminality. Mr. Sibal has argued and explained well, we have a lot of lack of time, which I can explain legally how this case cannot stand. And we were not critical about the judge, but the judgment itself, and we are going to do it. And in a course of time, you will get to know that there is no truth in this case itself. And one last point, Priya, one last point. You keep on hankering on the buildings are coming up, commercial complex coming up. This is not only Congress, even BJP did that. They've invested in a mutual fund.
No, that's
and
allowed.
They've invested in cancer. That's allowed. Even this is also allowed, GVL.
As long as the money remains within the party,
exactly.
there is no problem.
This money also remains in the party.
You have loaned this money to a company, and that company pays off that loan and transfers all the shares to Young Indian.
You have written up. You were running a newspaper, and even BJP did this.
Okay, I want to move on from the national.
But only I just want to make a very small point on this. I know I can cite a couple of cases in this. The fact is, when you tax-free donations to a political party, they are diverted for, as you say, propaganda purposes, and you want to spread the message. B, in this case, you have been given subsidized land. There are a couple of institutions, India International Center and Habitat Center.
Not only
they are
asked
them to pay taxes that you've been misusing the subsidized land.
Even shareholders have been too. Shanti Bhushan, and there are many others who are coming out and saying, my parents, my grandparents invested in this
where
company.
Are they? Why they have not complained?
Not
a single. Where is the criminality? There is no Congress.
Okay. Well, we need to take a short. Welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. We are here discussing whether this has been the year of confrontations or not, and I think the jury here is veering towards a yes.
not
Moving
a
on,
year.
you've seen the atmosphere on this table, we can't move on. How will the government move on with the Congress? Because there's a crucial budget session coming up, even if the winter session is going to be a write-off.
Well, this is inexplicable to me. You know, the larger story is the tit-for-tat politics that's getting played out. Earlier, it was intolerance on, you know, what you eat, what you wear. Dadri, people were very shocked by. And, you know, the intellectuals returning their awards, people from BJP, including ministers, saying that go to Pakistan if you don't agree with things here. That kind of language that you all through the year. Now what we're seeing towards the end of the year, last weeks, is a spat between the government and the opposition. And which is very, very...
Not the entire opposition.
Well, not the entire, but a large chunk of the opposition.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling that if you don't agree, what is worrying is if you don't agree with me, then we will... Is this playing out? If you don't agree with me, I'll fix you.
Yeah.
You know, that is the question mark in your mind. Now, if the Prime Minister really wants to reach out, and there's no way he's going to get Rajya Sabha majority,
In the next
well, even if you win all the elections, then maybe 2019 you are looking at a scenario. But I don't see them winning all these state elections. Therefore, he's got to take them on board. And particularly Rajya Sabha has got to take the Congress on board. Therefore, you have your Tea Party, you reach out to them, and the next day you go for this, you go for Rajendra Kumar of AAP, which rallies a section of the opposition. Even if you found, you know, it's 15-year-old cases, but suppose that they are very serious cases, why do it during Parliament session? What is the government's management all about? One doesn't really understand what the government is about in terms of reaching out to the opposition, taking everybody along, which Mr. Modi will have to do in order to legislate. You can say, okay, we'll forget Parliament, and they too, I mean, I don't agree with them. You know, on one guise or another, you play your politics within the house. You play it outside. You go to boat club. You do it outside Parliament. You can't
leave Parliament alone. I agree.
Leave Parliament alone.
No, let him
We have to
answer.
expose
Your
them. There's a
charges
But
tea and a
government
stick.
side also are not able to somehow manage their show, manage
Okay,
their...
the government's will was demonstrated in the very first few days of this Parliament session. Prime Minister urged all the parties to come and debate, and we agreed to discuss and debate on any issue they wanted to. The entire manufactured intolerance debate in this country, we said we are willing to debate that also. We allotted 2 days for discussion on this. And then every day you come up with new excuses to hold up Parliament. You say I was stopped from going to a temple, which is a blatant lie. His own party leader, minister, subsequently contradicts it.
What about
so I think, no, but when the
raid on the
opposition...
Aam Aadmi Party office? What about the Chief Minister's office?
I think, you see, that's
What
not on
about
the Chief Minister.
Arunachal? What about
One second,
Arunachal,
let
which is
me
very
say, you see,
serious?
there is, for the last 3 months, there is an internal bickering that has been going on in the Congress party. You cannot expect the government to bail Congress out of
Why the
corruption
governor?
scandals in National
How
Herald
can a
for
government
for
behave
House
like
to
that?
function. You cannot expect me to
That is going on.
ensure that a parliament, all the legislative party of Arunachal Congress is bound together to allow the parliament to function. This is their job. They have to run their party. If they can't keep their party together, you can't hold me responsible
the BJP party President Shah's strategy going on in the Northeast.
That's
It's dangerous to the
Priya,
country.
the
For
problem
God's
is
sake, don't
that,
play politics in the Northeast.
The problem is that it's on both sides. The mistakes have been made on the ruling party also. But I do think that overall, the Congress, particularly with Rahul Gandhi in the driver's seat, is irreconciled to the fact that Modi is the Prime Minister. The problem
Not at all.
The problem
That's
stems
a fact.
from that.
That's a reality.
The problem, no, yeah, but
Why we
it's a
should be?
reality. He doesn't
We
want
believe in
it.
democracy.
It doesn't. Secondly, let's be specific. On GST, even Harping Prime Minister calls them and discusses GST. Having given in on all those 3 conditions, the interstate 1% tax on 18%. Now the recommendation is 15%, or it ought to be 18%. And the third condition, the Congress is still looking for excuses not to support GST.
No.
The overall point I am trying to
Government
make
never
is this.
came
The
back with a
overall
response.
point I am
The issue
making is
specifically
that,
raised.
as Nirja said, or probably she didn't say it in so many words, This government will have to now learn
Yes.
to govern minus the parliament. Parliament is going to be as obstructionist, as confrontationist as it has been in this session. This is unfortunate. Rahul Gandhi is now leading Nitish Kumar and others who are now following him. This is unfortunate. This boy doesn't know how to have somebody said he doesn't have the political maturity. This, I think, was Kejriwal in one of his movements when he was not fighting with Congress. He was fighting
We have
with
seen what maturity Mr. Kejriwal has. Let's talk about him.
Kejriwal said this is bacha hai.
But you know, Virender, if you are thinking of doing things outside of Parliament alone, it's going to reduce Parliament to irrelevance.
Parliament
And it will reduce
itself, Parliament is
democracy to
irrelevant because who's reducing
and
it?
Parliament
If
is
Nirja, let me
democracy.
make my
So a way
point.
has to be
There is a
found.
lot. If you tone up the systems, if you start, you don't have to now legislate for new laws. They won't allow you. Whatever is there available to you.
You are floating all
please go
existing
ahead.
laws.
Please go ahead and do it.
You're
If you
violating
run the
people's
government,
fundamental
if you
rights to
run the
speech
government,
and freedom
if
of
they run the
expression.
government, tone up the system like that they've been doing it. Incremental reform. There is a lot of things
They want
can
to
be
remove
done.
the
They
constitution.
want
They want to remove the
outside,
secularism
but-
from the
But
constitution.
you don't need because new legislation. What do? There's a systemic fault. You have a Lok Sabha where they are in a majority, huge majority. You have Rajya Sabha. You inherited a Rajya Sabha, like you inherited 8 lakh crores of bad debts from their regime. You also inherited Rajya Sabha.
Please
But then you
recollect
have to
in the
deal with
last
this
budget
whatever
session
your
how
system you've
opposition
inherited.
helped to
Priya,
pass 148 bills.
So you want the
Therefore, I
government
would
to
say
become
the
stuck?
the
Don't accuse the
crisis
opposition by
today
overpaying you.
is the breakdown of trust between the top leadership of the BJP and the top leadership of the
Yes,
Congress.
but
That
how do you
is-
bring about the trust?
Yeah, well, how do you bring
That's
it
a
about?
challenge.
That is the real crisis.
And it's a
we are
challenge, I
facing.
think, which both sides have to meet. But from us, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this edition of Roundtable. We'll see you again, same time next week.